The following video was pre-recorded on twitch.tv/codedman9000. More information on the stream times at the end of the video. Death. Something the citizens of Shady Acres knows too well. Due to an unknown disease rapidly progressed by the city's expansion rate, and left with nothing else to do, the citizens take to the streets. They rush to the transportation center to take buses to the Chirp X Space Center. Large lines queue for the citizens' chance to escape the planet. The Chirp X Space Center, the last hope, is a place housing the space rocketing program. The city's survival, or even the planet's survival, relies on the Chirp X's Kerbal Space Program to teach us how to fly across the stars. With the help of SpaceX Kerbal Space Program, we will first learn how to fly a rocket. Next, we will learn how to fly in lower planet orbit before continuing to full planet orbit. After learning orbit travel, we only have one more thing to do: space travel. Hello and welcome to a Twitch Plays Along series called Stone to Space. Today we're in Chapter 3, Space Travel. Today we are playing Kerbal Space Program. Okay, so what I want to do is I think add the thrusters and then we worry about the staging. If I figure out what is counted as the main body, that is not a good thing to have as the main body. Let's reroute to the fairing. I can move the whole fairing up. And then we have to figure out how we're going to send this into space. And what I really want to do is I think copy what we've been using, which would be, I think I want the heavier rocket. That would be the refueler rocket. Because this would be better for us to delete things from instead of trying to figure out what we're adding to it. I'm just going to bring this down as far as I can. If I go to there and then we get rid of everything above... Oh, that's a good point. This fairing contains everything above it, but its main reason why it's here is that it's covering up the battery stuff. So I need everything above this decoupler to be deleted, and I need to delete the fairing. And then the next thing I need to do is come in here and probably delete these. But I'm going to keep them just in case, because we might want them. I am then going to save this as a subassembly. Now what I didn't pay attention to is how much weight this holds. So if we look at the refueler, that holds 37.440 tons. That's what we're going to name this after. I need to leave something here before we do the fairing. So if we just put another decoupler right there and then route to that decoupler, and then we go into subassemblies, put this in here, and now I should be able to save it. Larger rocket for space station. We'll say space station pieces. And I am going to actually round this up and say 38 tons, because I think it can hold more than that. $38 tons minimum. And then we can get rid of this whole thing, because we need to first load the top part. And then we load with this. Because now I should be able to just connect that to there. Now we do have this set up so that when we're in space, we would decouple here and then use this to slow our ascent as we're landing onto Mun. Then we would disconnect here which will disconnect the decoupler from both parts. So that's going to either stay on the Land Rover for the moment and then later on fall off, or it's going to fall off along with the rocket. But the main thing is we're going to use this rocket to move it off of the Land Rover, and then we should be able to just tip this off of this piece. So we do want the fairing here because it's going to allow for better aerodynamics as we crash or land onto Mun. But we actually don't need this decoupler and fairing because these two pieces are right here and here. What is that noise? A new follower. Thank you for the new follow. I, for some reason, can't see your name because of a stream preview. But thank you for the follow. I think it started with a G. If our recent follower thing would go back to being working, I could have added that to the thing for a shout out. But anyway. Wait a minute. I see that you made a first time chat as well, and for some reason, Firebot denied it. So if you can hear me, I apologize for that. I'm not sure why. Oh, I do see why, because you added a Discord to your message. Okay, so I apologize for that. You shouldn't be denied from speaking, aside from that. So if there's anything else you wanted to say, you can. At least I hope it didn't fully ban you. Anyway, we're gonna go back to here. I want to take off that fairing, but it seems like it is the route now. So let's reroute to this fairing and then take this off. So now when I put this back on, it's pretty much the same thing we had before. But we now probably don't need the struts, but I will keep them in, just in a different spot. So if I go to here, when we do this, gateway? Why am I not able to? Do I have to do it before I place it? I do have to before I place it. I want to see where these all connect around. Oh, it all connects pretty well. Okay. I just wanted to make sure that it wasn't connecting to like a light or something or to the other pieces and it was just on the body. Because this is going to have a lot of cracking effects since it is a small piece surrounded by two larger pieces. It's going to want to bend and pivot on that engine. Okay, that should keep that in place. Now we just need to build this fairing to cover this bottom part, which we had in the previous one. So if I just bring it out like this and then go straight up, it goes into the other fairing. I don't know why, because it should just go straight into it. Do I have to go like this and then in or something for it to finish off? I don't know why this one isn't finishing off and the last one did. I guess I can contain the entire rocket. So I am looking on the left side to see where this goes compared to the fairing before it. And I think what I actually want is to start from here. Make sure this goes out as far as it possibly can. Or maybe not. Let's just go out to here. Again, looking on the left, because on the right side it's making the top fairing pop out. On the left side it's not really doing that. So I'm hoping that as I go up, keeps doing what I want. And that is pretty much going all the way around it. This may be weird to do, but it seems like what's going on is I put a larger fairing down here for the larger spacecraft before, and I don't feel like fixing that to being a smaller one. So we're just gonna go like this, and I thought I might be able to connect into the point of this one, but I guess we're just gonna capture that as well. We'll do that. None of this should be touching. Doesn't seem like it is. Okay. So, if anything, this should all work. It's got weird phasing or staging. We'll have to work on that. We are going to have to move around a lot of things here on the staging. Let's start doing that now. We want these two guys down here. So I'm going to add a phase or a stage there and just move this up because I don't know which one that is. This decoupler, I don't even see which one it is. Oh, it's up there. Okay. That goes up there as well. And this one, I'm going to assume is even further up. Yep. So those two go there. We have all 4 of these boosters going. And then what I need here for this number 2 is all of the staging and starting of the side boosters. So let's add another one. I don't see these 2 engines, so I'm going to assume that there are these 2 here in the fairing. Yep. So let's find the engine that we actually want to use in this stage, and then we're going to move this stuff around. I think it's this one. It is. Now, if I move this here and move this down, I should be able to move everything around the way that I want. Alright, so we have the 2 decouplers. I'm going to put them underneath the rocket. Although they're going to be staged at the same time, I want it to be visually how I want it to actually take off. Now these, I don't like how it isn't doubled, because I messed up on adding them. So if we just look at these here, I'm going to move them down, and then we're going to decouple and place back the 2 side ones. Actually, I could do that now. So if I grab this decoupler here, I just get rid of that. And when we take this decoupler, that took the whole entire engine. I grab these 2, and we put them back on. We obviously don't want it on 8-way symmetry. We want it on 4-way. That should have placed it back where they were, along with the connectors and everything. So everything should say 4 now. And it does. So that makes this a little bit easier to move around. Now, did it keep the settings for the fuel? It did. Okay. That is almost halfway empty. So if we need to turn this down even more, we might as well just take off 2 boosters. Which is going to be a little bit difficult, or... No, it'll be easy. Okay. So at this point, we are only on the middle rocket. That should be able to take us all the way to Mun. When we get close to Mun... No. When we are in space, so stage number 3 will be blowing off not that fairing. I want the big fairing here, because we'll no longer need it. And then when we get to Mun, I want this bottom rocket, which is this one being started. And then I want the decoupler that is right there, also with this. So this can go up there. So can this and this. So the stage breaks it off of the main booster, starts that engine, and then the rest is after we land. So when we land, I want to just blow off the fairing by itself for the first stage so I can see everything before I actually start doing the rest. And then I want to have this fairing with that engine. What is this fairing to? Oh right, that would be the last one. That is for returning the Kerbin if we need to. Which we're actually not going to use that probably. Okay, so that breaks this off, and then we have this last decoupler here. Okay, I'm not sure why that battery's highlighted in green. I think it's just because I hovered over it for a second. So this should be all staging correctly. So let's save this. And now this should be capable of going all the way to Mun. And if not, we're going to have to give more solid fuel to this. I have no idea how this is going to fly. We're going to hope that it flies correctly. Let's put a pilot in here. So, what do I want in here? Probably Patul. And then Valentina takes the plane back to the space station later on. We're also going to want a scientist on here, because the scientist is going to be able to reset the science-related things. So if I put the scientist and Patul, we'll move Patul to the command pod, because that should be the top thing. Yes, so the scientist's already in here, and there's an available spot to put the pilot in there as well if we want to put 2 people in there. We probably won't need to have 2 people in there. But anyway, we're gonna want action groups, because if I press G for the landing gears, it is going to move this one out, but it's also going to move that out as well. So what I think I want is to put these on different stages. So this one specifically is going to be action group 1. This one is going to be deployed separately, so we don't have to put that on a separate group. That's going to be on G. And this is probably only going to be used once as the action group 1. And then I think later on we should change the science stuff. You know what? No, let's do it now. If I go to 2 and we zoom in here, we have the goo. We're going to obviously observe. There's 2 things here. Did I already set up action groups? Why is this here? We don't want that there. That's weird. It already had the collect all thing on there. Anyway, number 2 is going to have the Science Junior. And then on this side, it is going to have this when I can click on it. Log temperature, log pressure. It's going to also have crew report in here. And then number 3 is collect all. So we're going to have to get out to reset it, but we're also going to get out to do the EVA and the surface sample, so we can just stand here at this door and reset everything, which is actually on this side, these 2 pieces. Okay, and then when we get to here, we're going to manually take everything out of that storage and put it in here, or into this one. And then this should be able to dock with the space station later on. Hopefully we have enough fuel. This is our first test. We're going to be doing it in stages to make sure that we can get all the way to Mun and back. We're going to do 2 flights right now. The first flight is going to see if we can make it to Mun. And then when we get to Mun, at whatever point in time, we will do all the staging on Mun, but we won't collect any science. So we're going to just choose a random easy place to land on Mun that's hopefully flat. And then we'll stage everything and just see if we can get to the space station. And then the third flight will be collecting all the signs and stuff like that. So we may need more fuel at some point. I have a feeling we will need more fuel. This top one has RCS, but does it have the RCS container? I don't think it has an RCS container on this. Because this is regular fuel, right? Yeah, this is regular fuel. We do not have RCS on here. We have the thrusters, we don't have the monopropellant, is what I mean to say. So I am going to have to take this entire thing off, which means going back to the build. Take this whole thing off, just place it there for a moment. I need to go into fuel and find the monopropellant that fits this. Right there. Put this back on. And then check the fairings. The bottom one does not work. So what I think I need to do is delete this fairing so that I can see this fairing as I edit it. I think we just want to go to here and then in as a point. And that should be enough space. And then this one, just like last time, we're gonna come out to about here and then go straight up for the rest. Where's the snapping? There it is. Put the fairing, there we go. Then another one. And then from here we go inwards. Like that, and like that. There we go. That should all be correct. This doesn't need monopropellant, but if we end up using RCS, it will use it from both of these. I just think we'll be fine with that one rocket. Okay, and then this should have a probe and a battery so that we can rotate this. It has an action wheel down here to make it rotate faster. And it has a battery for the probe to work. Nothing phase-wise should have been changed. It actually does look like the staging was changed. So why are these two together? They should not be together, they should be separated. The other direction. So down here is breaking off the main thruster, then we turn this on. We break off the fairing. And then we break off the top rocket. And this will phase the lander. That's what we want. This should stay with the lander. So number 0 is ignored this entire time. Anyway, we are going to save again, and we're going to see which way this is facing. I don't think it would have rotated. And I'm also not positive that we have enough for us to get us where we want to go. Why is it rotated like this? So it's going off something that is sideways, which would be the lander cab, but we should be going off of where the pilot is. The pilot should be way up here at the top. Can I click control from here on something? No, what? Let's figure out where we need to place everyone so that this is showing correctly on the ball. If we go in here and we move everyone into the command pod, will that move the ball the correct way? Because the command pod should be facing the right direction. Yes, it is. Okay. So don't put anyone in the landing cab, because that apparently counts as the main body. So we have everything facing the right direction. Let's just take off and see how this does getting into orbit. Okay, I'm going to start turning now. I'm not seeing any weird bobbing back and forth, so I think we're doing okay with Kraken forces. And we are pretty much going up efficiently. We are going up very quickly though, which is a good thing. And I'm having a hard time staying at the 90-degree point here. Took prograde a little too long. I should have moved up here quicker. That's fine. Those are the main 4 boosters, so I'm just going to break them off now. And now I'm focusing on our highest point. I'm getting up to 75 kilometers, which is right there. Let's go in here. Welcome in, Raiders. Hello, Slicky. So, as the music's going on, I'm going to do my introduction. For those that don't know me, my name is Coded. We play a selection of video games on this channel, mostly revolving around city builders, but on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays, we play Stone to Space, which is our Twitch Plays Along series, where I play all of my games in an order that shows mankind's progression. So right now, we have done a chapter on medieval games. We've done a chapter on modern games like City Skylines 2 and other things that would go along with that. Right now, we're in the 3rd chapter, which is about space travel. So we are in Kerbal Space Program right now, and we are working on ending out this game, which is the first game of the chapter. And then we will be getting into Infraspace, which is a Mars colony builder game, which is also a factory game mixed in with it. So, for anyone who came in with the raid, feel free to lurk. And Slicky, how was your stream? What did you do? Because I do not have that as shout out thing. It should have given you a short shout out, but I guess Firebot is being mean. I do like the raid message. I know you're testing out different raid messages. I did see that you went live earlier as I was getting ready to start streaming. Okay, as that's going on, let's get back into here. We are currently testing out a rocket that is going to bring a lander and a Land Rover to the closest moon so that we can do the last amount of science on that for all the different biomes. You played Abzu today. I do not know that game. So our lowest point is at 75, but our highest point went up very far. Oh, that is almost perfect. 75 and 75 kilometers. We're going to do that for sure. All right, hopefully I can get over there before we have to start burning, which is in 19 seconds. Didn't finish it because I have to go take care of the geese. That's fair. I think that reaction wheel is making us rotate a lot faster than before. Because we're going to be on it very close to the burn time, which I have to start doing now. So we're going to be a little bit off of the exact numbers because I didn't do this where it wanted us to. But we're fine. That maneuver icon that I'm locked on to will readjust. Abzu is a puzzle adventure game which happens underwater. That sounds fun. So I guess it's kind of like Willow's crab game, but it's a puzzle. It's gorgeous. It does sound fun. I do occasionally play puzzle games, and being underwater sounds even better. Alright, so right now we are attempting to get into orbit around our main planet of Kerbin. And this blue line is our Kerbin, our current trajectory. So right now we would end up going into the planet if we did not keep burning fuel. We should see it eventually pop out the other side of the planet. And I should probably start throttling down because we are now in positive numbers on our lowest point. That is 71, 2, 3. I'm going to stop there because of when we started burning, not on the maneuver node. Our highest point is now at 94 kilometers high. So I am going to stop us there, and we need to find Mun. We're going to set that as a target. I shouldn't have to do too much angle stuff, but we are off by about 1 degree. I'm going to leave it there because it's closer to half a degree. And I'm okay with that. Anyway, we need to zoom out now. This is our space station, which we have been aiming for and connecting things to. But we're going to go all the way to Mun to see if we can make it there and get into orbit with the main rocket, which we have 1,000 meters per second. That should be enough. I don't have my notes open. That to me seems too small, but we're going to try it anyway. We can at this point go into this scene and blast off this fairing. For those that missed us building this, we have a second fairing which has all the other stuff in it, because Mun has a little bit of atmosphere that I'm trying to correct for, although we probably don't need it. So for right now, it's just for looks. This also does allow us to use these wings to help us direct where we're going. So, I don't know where Mun is going to be when we get there. I'm going to assume we want to start here. And the first step is to get all the way out there. If I just do that for now. The nodes are different colors out here. And we also overshot how far out we went. So if I just do this, we now have a Mun capture. And I think what I want is to make this go past Mun, because that looks like we're getting pulled as we're coming back, which is confusing me a little bit. If I do just a little bit more prograde to go past Mun, and then we change the timing of this, that's going further away. If I go this way, this isn't doing what I wanted it to. I'm trying to get our little orbit thing to go around Mun and come back. Maybe I just need more prograde and then change the timing. This is doing weird stuff. I think this is saying that we're going to go around it. Yeah, that's definitely around it. This isn't how I want this to work. Let's do larger time changes and then work our way back. Okay, this is kind of what I want. If I bring retrograde down and we continue going this way. Eventually it's going to work again. Okay, I don't know what is going on visually, because we're going counterclockwise which means when we do this maneuver, we will be on the orange line. And the orange line is coming back before we meet up with Mun, and that's not what I want. I want to meet up with Mun on this side. I guess I do just need to give more prograde to get over here. But it's still only showing up on the return. I just keep going around. There should be a point where I meet up with Mun before it's past us. Maybe I'm going the wrong way, and I actually want to go more this way to make Mun pop out on the other side. There we go. Now we have the purple line on the right side of the globe here. I am not going to worry about this now. We're going to do a second maneuver once we get to this point. That's going to bling us. That's going to bring us closer to Mun and also correct for the height difference in our two orbits. So this is relatively close to where we are. I'm going to lock on the maneuver and then we'll spend some time getting to it. Once we get onto the maneuver, which is this blue arrow for right now, we will speed up time if we're not within a minute. You know what I could do, since we're only at 2 minutes, is just speed up time manually. This is going to use majority of our remaining fuel. Now I have somehow gotten a little bit more speed and fuel by blowing off the fairing. So I actually have 1100 meters per second, and I'm going to use 868 meters of that velocity. So since we're at 2 minutes, I'm just going to speed up manually instead of using this button. That button's going to not be highlighted once we get below a minute like we have now. And then that's 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Start throttle. I then want to focus view on here, because now we see the purple line over here. And at some point, we will see this blue line also come out here. Should be when I get within 10 seconds. Maybe not. Maybe it's closer to 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. So there's the orange. I am going to stop right there because that should be exactly lined up, if not close to it. So if I just leave it there for now, we are going to put another maneuver roughly about here. And this is the one that's going to bring us closer. So if I think I need to go radial. We do a little bit of radial, I can see the purple line now. And then we're going to bring this in. Then we have to bring it up as well. Good luck on catching the wiglet, Gino. I want to go normal as well to bring this up. That was too much normal. Let's bring this down to a smaller increment and bring this also down. What I want is not the purple line necessarily matching up with this yellow line. I want the icon right here matching up with the yellow line. We're going to ignore... You know what? That looks like it is on the line. So now let's do a little bit more radially in. That's going to bring our lowest point in our orbit, which is actually going to turn out to be our highest point for right now. And I want this to be within 15 kilometers. That's 13 exact. That's pretty darn perfect. Okay. Congrats, Gino, on catching Wiglet. And this wire is getting on my nerves for my headphones. Okay, let's lock on the maneuver. We're going to fast forward. This is going to take an additional 141 meters per second, so we actually have enough to do this. Hopefully. Because we still need to use whatever's left over to orbit Mun. Right now, we are going to go past Mun and continue orbiting around both bodies. Because we will be on this purple line. Our current projection is actually blasting off into space. I don't know where that would end up leading. But if we continue on this orange path, we end up on the green one, and then that goes out. And I think that readjusts the orbit of where we're going. So, anyway, we're on the maneuver. Let's fast forward so that we are within a minute. Now, this is a relatively quick burn. So I'm going to actually turn down the thrust limiter, which brings up the time. And we're going to speed up time now. That's the wrong button. I actually should be on that video or view. And now we're within 10 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Full throttle burn for now. We're just going to focus on this. We should see it match up with this, but I'm actually going to stop it when it is below 15 kilometers. I don't need it to be exactly 13. I just need it to be low 15 for what I'm trying to do. Now, I also forgot to turn off one of our announcements. It hasn't happened yet, but there is an announcement we no longer are using. If we just disable this one, we will have 3 announcements in 1 more hour. Alright, back to this. We are now below 300 meters, or kilometers. Now we are below 200. I'm going to slow us down pretty soon. Right now. Now we're below 60 kilometers. 50. 40. 30. I can't zoom anymore. That's 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15. We are below 15 kilometers. We're pretty close to it, but we're below it. If I just do a quick little burst, that'll give us a little bit further away. Almost forgot. What'd you almost forget, Slicky? So now we're going to add another maneuver right here on that icon. And this is going to be... Oh, you did the mug redeem. Gotcha. I will look at that in just a moment after I set up this maneuver. So from here, we're going to go retrograde, burning away from the direction we are heading, and bring up our highest point now to being also below 15 kilometers. Which is going to change our lowest point as well. Okay, what is our lowest point at that point? That is 12 kilometers. Our highest point then becomes what is our current lowest point. So we are going to do this maneuver. Actually, we can't. Because if you look here, this bar is now red. It also means the burn time is red. And that means we do not have enough velocity to cover this entire burn. As you see here, this is going to take 300 meters per second. And if we look over here on the left, we have our total of 139 meters per second. So, we don't have enough thrust to do this. Okay, and that is the second person that has come in with a Discord. And I'm zooming out on Firebot, but it's doing the same in the game. I don't know what you were trying to say, just followed. You did not just follow, because we have a overlay that tells you that when you follow. So, what I'm gonna do is this. There we go. Since there was 2 people that did that, we are now banning anyone who says stuff like that. The first one was auto banned by Firebot earlier, and Firebot also tells me when people are looking on the channel and not. So right now I can see Gino, Mr. Rusty, and Slicky are currently here. It is delayed, so if you guys leave, I don't immediately see you leave or come in. But the person from earlier that gave us a similar message, almost to the exact Discord name, is no longer here. So I 100% believe that both of those 2 people were bots, if not just because of the message. And I do have links disabled on chat, so if you try to post a link, it will not allow your message, but it won't stop you from sending it. Anyway, we're about to have an ad in a few seconds, so we are going to revert back to the vehicle assembly because we need to increase something on here. Now, we do have these 4 boosters here, which have lowered fuel, because that makes the boosters get decoupled before we get into an orbital highest point. So what I need to do is find the perfect in-between that gives us more velocity for this middle rocket, which is going to add more weight. We're going to have to move these up more so it has more thrust going into the upper atmosphere. And then that should allow us to have more velocity when in vacuum. So what we need to focus on being vacuum is this middle one here on stage 6, and that is the ad. So I will see you guys in 3 minutes. I'm going to have the mug that Slicky redeemed. Welcome in, Sophie. I know that you don't have ads. So welcome in. Congrats on being first. I'm surprised Gino did not get first for you, or from you. That's new way of getting around banning the stream bot. Like, oh, okay. So anyway, I will be back in about 3 minutes. It's actually now 2.5. But anyway, I'll see you guys soon. And we are back. Why is the cat camera on and my camera is not on now? What is going on here? Is my mic on at least? Because I still haven't changed the audio. My mic is on. Why is it doing weird things with the cameras? That's the wrong camera. Cat camera should be off. This one should be on. That is weird. The source was still on, but the camera wasn't for some reason. I don't know how to explain that. So, again, welcome in, Sophie. Congrats on being Mega First and First. I see Gino is being nice and not always taking first. So thank you for being nice. As usual, this is the mug that Slicky has redeemed for. This is number 9. It says, "My cat was right about you." It's on both sides as well. So, cheers. I know you already did the redeem, but cheers. Alright. She was over here. I guess she went back to her kittens. So, she's somewhere in here. She was over here because I was eating a little bit of a snack while we were on her break. Anyway, let's get back into here. And I want to change this to vacuum. And I want to make sure that this has at least 300 more. I think that's a good stopping point, so 2,800. Or we could go all the way up to 3,000 meters per second there. Not sure. Anyway, let's first test out just taking this off and adding in a small amount of fuel, and we'll work our way up from the smaller amounts. So how much does that give us? Gave us about 100 meters per second. Okay, let's hope that this doubles it to being about 200. So it should be 27,000. It did not. Okay, so now we're getting into the point where the weight is counteracting how much thrust we have. But if I take that off and we go another double, so this should be 4 times as much fuel as the first one we put on. We put this on. Gina, I am 100% sure that you've caught that Pokemon before. That Pokemon, for some reason, is very common on my channel, and it annoys me. Okay, this got us pretty close to the number that I'm trying to shoot for. It's about 15 off. So if I go even more and double this to this one, which should be 8 times as much fuel as the first smaller one, this should overshot what we need. 29,000. It did bring our initial velocity down here down. So we may want to increase the amount of fuel we have in these solid boosters. But we're going to do that with coded math, which is test it out, and if it doesn't work, change it a little bit. You guys are going to see that a lot more when we get into the factory games, like Infospace and License for Program, that I will do coded math, which is just add one more building, and if that one more building does not make us equal out what we need, I'll add another one more building to 2. I never do the math on exactly how much I need. I just keep adding little bits. There are too many for you to keep track of. That is fair. I know there is the ability when you scroll down below the stream to see what Pokemon you have, but there's no way of like it telling you what you don't have without looking. So that's why I put the sound effects for all Gen 1 Pokemon. So they're the only ones I'm trying to collect. I did think about turning off the sounds for the things that I specifically don't have, but I figured that would not be useful for you guys. You know, let's do a poll for that, because we haven't done polls in a while for random stuff. So this is, should we keep all Gen 1 noises on? Yes. Noises for chat. Or no. Only for me. So it'll either only play the noises that are the Pokemon that I need, or we'll continue keeping it as every Gen 1 Pokemon. And while that poll is going on, we are going to test this out and see how it flies. So I'm going to save it, because we should only be editing now the boosters on the sides to make sure that we can get up as high as we have. It did lose in vacuum 100 meters per second, but that's probably different in the atmosphere of Kerbin. If I just do SES and full throttle, let's see how high this takes us before they turn off. So we're above 50 meters per second. I'm going to start turning to the right, and we're going to see how high we get when we get to that 60-degree angle. Keep all Gen 1 Pokemon noises on. Gotcha. I will do that. Which means I don't change anything. Okay, we are at the halfway point. I'm going to keep pulling to the right because I know as we get closer to that 45-degree angle, it's harder for me to turn. As you guys can see now, I have been pulling to the right as hard as I can, and it's really pulling to the left. Okay, what is our max height when these shut off? That's all we're focusing on. 50 kilometers. We could turn up the fuel a little bit. Let's turn it up by 10%. So I'm going to use a calculator on my phone. So we want to add 10% to 9,840. And we want, no, I don't want multiply, I want to add. We want 10% of 16,400. Which brings us to 1140,480. And with changing this, it should change the other three along with it because they should be mirrored. That's 11,480. That should be whatever 10% above this was. Did that change the rest? It did. Okay. So we should be, I think that's 70% of the max fuel. Let's save that. We'll try this and see what the max height on this gets us to. If I can get it to being close to 60 kilometers, that would be very perfect for me. Because it means we won't be using a lot of this fuel, getting up even higher into the atmosphere height of 70 kilometers. Or the lower orbit height of 70 kilometers. This is now turning a lot faster with the extra fuel. I don't know if that is just a thing. But we are going to now stay right here at a 60-degree angle until we get to 5 kilometers high. This is to save fuel. It's fuel efficient doing it this way. And now we're going to go all the way over to the 45-degree bend, which for some reason I had an easier time getting over to. So I think we did not use our fuel the same way as before. So we may not have a higher number. We are getting past 50. I think we stopped last time below 50. That is 63 kilometers. Okay, we are going to keep that. And now this is another attempt to get to Mun. So that is a max height of 75 kilometers now. I'm going to rotate us a little bit towards the horizontal line there. That should be enough speed getting to it. If I come down here, we're going to do our usual maneuver. Even though getting into orbit's pretty easy. This is not changing fast enough for me. There we go. Turn this back down. 71.81. That's not too bad. Let's get onto that maneuver. We are not going to be on it right away. Why are we not rotating at all? Because we're not going to be near the maneuver when we have to start burning. No, we are not. So this is going to change our height in some way. Turning on the thruster does give us extra rotation power. And now I am only going to focus on this down here on the bottom left to make sure that it goes above 70 kilometers. I'm not going to worry about the highest point because that's going to be different than what it said before. It's probably going to be higher than 81 by the time that we get to 71. We have another 50 seconds of a full throttle burn. And then we'll be able to take off the fairing, which should give us extra thrust in vacuum. Right, we should be close to the halfway point of getting into an orbit. Our highest point is now above negative 200 kilometers. Now it is above negative 100. And that is positive numbers now. So let's slow this down because we don't want to overshoot 70 kilometers. Way too much of a difference. That's 70. I'm going to go a few extra kilometers. 72 and 92 is it's a little elliptical, but it's not too bad. All right, let's set up this target and find out where we need to set up our maneuver. I am going to guess right here. And then prograde, get us all the way up there. That is overshooting it quite far. Turn this down. I want a little bit of an overshoot like that. And then I want to get just closer, I think. No, further away then. There we go. That's a good enough capture there. Since we're going to be adding a second maneuver, that's going to get us even closer. Could I make this a little bit better and less of a second maneuver? But just changing the time a little bit. Yes, I can. If we just keep doing this, we can get pretty close. I am going to actually go all the way. Because if we take a look at this line, we are pretty much on the orbital line of Mun. So I think I'm going to go all the... No. We'll stop it here. We'll do a second maneuver to make sure that we're going to be doing it right. I am going to go back to make sure that this line is an actual curve instead of getting pushed out by Mun. Just to make sure that we have an orbit capture of Kerbin. That should be curved enough correctly. And then our final orbit will be this green line if we keep going that way, but we're not. So anyway. Let's get to that maneuver. We can now go into here and stage the first fairing. And that should help us rotate a little bit faster because now we're able to use these wings that are right here. And then after that, we will speed up to being within a minute and then within 10 seconds. And all I'll have to do is look at where we're going. If I double click on here and focus view, at some point we will have another line come over here and we just want it to match this a little bit. So we are on the maneuver node now, so let's fast forward. We break off of it a little bit. Luckily, we don't break off of it too far, so we can get back to it very quickly. And that should be locked on there. So let's fast forward to get within 10 seconds like we usually do. There we go. And this is a 42-second burn at max throttle. So we should be able to see that this blue line is now moving. If you keep an eye on this AP icon, that's the highest point. That's going to somehow, at some point, turn over here into being PE. So we are now past our space station orbit. We'll be coming up to our satellite ring soon. There we go, and now we should be closing in very quickly on Mun. There we go. Now let's add in our secondary maneuver to correct for where we are. We are a little bit below the orbit line of Mun now, so we'll have to correct for that. But first, we want to just do radially in. Let's do bigger changes. There we go. And then we're gonna have to do a little bit normal to bring us back up. And again, I'm trying to get to a close 15-kilometer height. Looks like we're gonna have to counteract our normal change. We go there a little bit. Let's come out because I don't want to be that close. Tiny bit more in. That is below 15. I'm gonna go to 13 kilometers there so that we know do not touch this line. But anyway, lock on that maneuver. We do have more velocity now than we did before. So this is a good look as far as I can tell. We should have a 300 velocity orbit capture later on when we get into actually orbiting this. It shouldn't really change much. And if we would like to, we could wait an hour and 52 minutes IRL time before we get to this maneuver. But I don't think you guys want to wait that long. We're almost on the maneuver node. I'm surprised this is almost retrograde to get all the way into this orbit here. Anyway, let's fast forward now that we're on the maneuver. Oh, it changed. Okay, now we're almost on radially in. That makes more sense. Fast forward again to be within 10 seconds. Now this is a 6-second burn at full throttle. So what we're going to do is lower the thrust limiter. That brings us to a minute, and it also changed when we need to start burning. If I just bring this out more, we're just going to start burning now because this was doing weird things. And stop. Nope. That was a little too close, but we're still above 10 kilometers, so that's fine. We'll just end up keeping that as our lowest point. Okay, now I'm going to bring this back all the way up. Like here, and we're going to create our orbit capture, which is just retrograde burns. And it should get close to 300 meters per second. Well, that just took us out. So I think that changed something else that I didn't want changed. Do this again. Yeah, keep an eye on this, keep an eye on that as well. Turn this down as we get in. I actually wanted to change a little bit faster than that. There's 9 kilometers. I don't want 9. Let's bring this back out. That is 15. Let's go a little bit lower than that. That is good enough. Lock on that maneuver, which isn't too far away. And then we have a 3-hour and 30-minute wait. And then it's only a 10-second burn. So what I should do now is lower the thrust limiter. Okay, as we get closer, we should say that these two icons line up almost exactly, if not exactly. There we go. We're pretty much on the maneuver. Let's fast forward. Now we're moving away from it, but we should move back to it. Oh, that's right. It changes where it is on the ball once we get captured by Mun. Okay. Fast forward to within 10 seconds like usual. As you see, we're getting closer to that yellow icon. And full throttle burn right there. And then eventually this blue line is going to become an elliptical orbit. And then I'll be able to click on the highest point icon. There we go. And as it gets closer, I will be throttling down, just not yet. Oh, it does look like it's slowing down on its own as we get closer. Alright, we are now below 60 kilometers. Let's throttle down at this point. I don't want to overshoot our highest point being below 15 kilometers. Because I think I set this up being close to it, yeah. So we want to get very close to this exact orbit here. It's below 16, that's below 15, let's stop there. Okay, now we get to test the rest of this rocket. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to break off this main booster from the rest of our station here. We are going to switch to this because I need to break away from here. And I'm not sure if we are far enough away from this to do that. It doesn't look like the connection point here of the fairing has collision to it. We are kind of moving away very slowly. I'm looking right here against the thruster of the other rocket. I'm trying not to bump it, but I think we just might to get out of this. Okay, now we have the issue of being behind that rocket. I should have switched us to being prograde before changing where we were. So if I just go like this, we're going to aim away from that rocket. And then this should get us away. Let's do retrograde. This will now bring this entire booster into the globe here. And that other one will continue to orbit the way that it is directed. Will this explode? That is the next question, because I have no idea. It's apparently a space station. If I just turn this up, we'll crash land a little bit faster. And there we go. That should, at some point, crash land onto Mun and explode. We want to switch to this. And I want this to also be focused on retrograde. Now, the fuel that we have currently in here has nothing to do with the rest of the rocket that we used already. So this is all the fuel that we have for on this one particular rocket here. Now, hopefully it is not also going to use the fuel within the fairing as part of this. I think it's detached because there is a decoupler in here. Let's find out where we are going to land. Now, I want to land on the sun side of the moon. So let's just speed up time. We should see this icon disappear when it crash lands. There it goes. It's gone now. If it didn't crash land and blow up, we wouldn't have the icon. Okay, we're almost in sunlight here. And then what I think I want to do is land in one of these craters. They seem relatively flat. If I stop here and we look at Mun, actually this place is more flat than the other. Alright, what I want to do right now is number 1, to bring out that landing gear. I want to turn on the lights. And we are going to slowly burn so that this blue line goes somewhere over here. And then we're going to try to land in this flat looking area. So we should see our highest point shoot past us at some point. At least I thought it would. It looks like it's actually going further away from us. That's fine. And this is slowing us down very slowly, ironically. I thought it would be a little bit quicker at slowing us down. I guess it's because of this specific rocket we're using. Because I don't think I limited the throttle to it. No, this is max throttle going down. As long as we stay on the retrograde marker, it will point us the correct direction as we're falling. We're almost out of this crater. We should be getting closer to here, I hope, or right here. Either one would be fine. I think we might as well just keep burning retrograde. Let's do our speed compared to the surface. We're pretty much on the edge of the crater, but still not necessarily somewhere flat. And compared to being flat, as long as we don't hit this crater right here, we're fine. Actually, even with the direction we're heading, we're probably not going to go in that crater. On the other hand, I don't think we're slowing down fast enough. We might want a swivel engine on this instead of a Terrier. Because by the time we get down, I think we're going to be still going too fast. We're still going to be over 300 meters per second. It looks like we have enough fuel to get there, though. We're below 300 meters per second. We're still not as low as I want us to be. Because we really want to be below 10 meters per second. Or I think the sweet spot was 8 last time we tried this. We are going to wait to see if we do a crash land. I can't speed up time while we are accelerating. Or in this case, decelerating. So we're going to just go through this as slow as possible, and at some point it should be a very loud explosion. Yeah, we definitely are going too fast downwards, so we need to get a different engine on here. that is stronger than the Terrier. Alright, and luckily we should be able to... Why can't I revert flight? I think that thing that popped up that I cleared was the way that we revert flight back to the VAB, so we're gonna have to restart from the beginning of the stream now, setting up the rocket, which shouldn't take too long because we know what we need to change. This is the save that we were on last. This should have been our last autosave, but that could be while we're still flying here. So we're just gonna load last episode. So forget everything that happened in the last hour and a half. We're going here. I don't remember what number we need to make these thrust limiters at. So I am going to delete the fairing. Delete this. We're going to keep those on for later. I need to go in here. Nope. Decouple. Grab this, put that there. Save that as the main body point. Go in here, subassembly. Grab this, put it in here. That was sticky keys. Market for space station pieces. I think is what we called it before. Could have been something different, but oh well. And if we take a look at on the left, the max this can do, or the minimum this can do, is 38 tons. Save that, then we can get rid of this whole thing. And we want to go in here. Oh, we already have it saved. And we have 2 rockets that can do 46 tons. Okay, so it doesn't save sub-assemblies. Or it does, it's right here. That's definitely not the one we want. Neither is that. Which one did we just save? I don't know, but somehow we have this rocket still saved, even though we didn't do the flight yet. Because we should still have both of these guys. We don't want Valentina, we want this guy. We want them both in the command pod. That still has both fairings. And then this should be 11 something? It is. Okay, so we didn't really lose anything. That makes this easier then. We need to go in here and change the rocket. So I want to grab everything above the rocket and just take it off. If I am in the right mode, there we go. And then the next thing is to take this engine off and just throw it away. And then if we take a look at this is the Terrier. It is a 14 kilonewton thrust in atmosphere and a 60 kilonewton thrust in vacuum. We take a look at the next one. It does a little bit less, so we definitely don't want that. The Reliant is quite a bit, but it does not have a swivel portion to it. It is locked in place. It does not help you rotate the craft. So what I want is the swivel, which is a little bit bigger than the last engine. So we may have to correct our fairings to mimic it. I want you on there. Let's take a look. It actually does not seem like it gave us much extra height compared to where the fairing is, so we are fine. And then where is that booster? Also, what's going on down here? I feel like things aren't set up correctly anymore. Oh, it's right here. Okay, so this is going to go up here for now. Same with this fairing. And we're going to check to make sure that the bottom two, or the first two stages work correctly. So it's the 4 boosters. That's what I want. And then the next stage should not have 2 engines. Should not have this. The next stage should be that rocket there. I want this at the top, just for visual. Break off the fairings, start all these thrusters that break the boosters away from us. And then we get up to here, which is actually going to be number 2. And that is going to have the fairing, the large one. And nothing else. Next stage has the decoupler from that large fairing. Should be this one. It also is going to turn on that engine. Yes, yes. Next stage is this fairing. Because this is now, anything above 3 is going to be when we're already on the ground. So we're keeping this fairing until we're already on the ground. Next stage after that should be these 2 pieces. No. Yes. So we need one more here. That is going to be the bottom fairing. Or decoupler. That's all correct now. Alright, let's test this all the way over there. So it may not get done. I mean, the science may not get done until Wednesday's stream. And the rocket's rotated. I guess because I took off the command pod and then put it back on that it became rotated. So we are going to go down here and add a quick wing right here in the center. So I can see which direction this is facing when I go to move it. I want that wing on the left side. There we go. And that should be facing us in the correct direction as we go to take off. SAS full throttle. Let's get out of here. We already know that everything is changed correctly. So let's start turning to the right. I'm going to try to do it slower than last time, because last time we did this, we overshot our angle from our height. So right here is a sweet spot. I'm just going to keep going to the right now. And I've gotten to the point where I am having a hard time pulling prograde over here. but we are at the spot that I want to be. So it's just a matter of waiting for the prograde vector to get over here as well. Alright, we should have these thrusters breaking off pretty soon. There we go. And now the final check. 71, 2, 3, 4, and 5 kilometers. There we go. Come down here. Maneuver just for visual. That's 75 at 121. I don't want 121 for sure. That's good. 74, you know what? Tiny bit more. 75 and 79 is pretty good. Alright, we go back to here. Why do I not have the ability to lock on the maneuver? That makes it seem like the probe is what's being controlled here, and not where our pilots are. Did this just get sent out without any people on it? Yes, it did. Wimpatol, we want Stubbold. We want them both down here in the command pod. We don't have to save anything because it doesn't save the pilots where they are. It only saves the changes to the rocket. Alright, nothing else should be changed. Why is it all of a sudden now rotated the other direction? So now I have to go back and rotate it again. I guess because it was going off of the probe must be rotated 90 degrees compared to where the people are. There we go. And liftoff. Start turning. I'm gonna keep pulling prograde over. We actually overshot our angle. I pulled prograde a little too quickly. Alright, let's keep pulling it to the right. And then we're just going to sit here for a little bit. And we should have these breaking off now. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Same maneuver as before, only this time we can actually do the maneuver. And I am not looking at the circle at all, I'm just looking at the numbers on the bottom left of the screen. Which the highest point is now too high. 73 and 78 is pretty good. Let's do that. We have 30 seconds to get onto this maneuver. We're probably not going to be at the maneuver at the time that we have to start, because that's been happening recently for us, that we're not there on time. We're at least going to be in prograde. Ooh, out of prograde? Really? We might not mess up as much as we have been. Okay, and full throttle here. And we have a minute to get up there. We're gonna stay in this view just for the fun, and we're just looking at the lower left-hand corner to make sure that the second number that's changing is above 71. Right now it's above negative 500 kilometers. Taking quite a while to get out of this specific 100-kilometer distance. We're now above 400 kilometers. Now we are above 300 kilometers. And negative 200. And now we're starting to climb up a lot faster than before. So we are already above negative 100 kilometers. So I'm going to start throttling down because we are about to break the 0 meter. There we go, we're now in positive numbers. That's an orbit capture. 62, 71, 2, 3. 73 and 94 isn't perfect, but it's good enough for this specific rocket. So while we're here, let's break off the fairing. Congrats, Gino, on catching Dino. And let's find Mun, which is over here. And we're going to need to burn here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Too much. And there is already a capture. So we need to change the time a bit. Going the other way. So that we're on the outside of Mun. Okay, that is pretty good for our first maneuver. It is 1,000,000 meters away from Mun, but that's fine. We're going to change that with the second maneuver. And that is Minmus. I almost went to the wrong moon. Okay. I was about to change it to say, like, wait a minute, why am I going over here if that's over there? And we're going to get locked onto the mover. Then we will speed up time like usual. Felt like there was something crawling on my arm in between my arm and the watch. That scared me for a moment. In terms of our velocity, I am not sure if we have enough at this point. But it seems a little bit different than last time. So I am a little bit concerned. We might be able to make it. We might not. Who knows? Okay, we are pretty much locked on, and we should be right now about to get 3 different announcements. And we got all 3. So I fixed the announcements. There's just another thing I needed to fix, and I forget what it is for right now. I think it's the announcement for when we go into and out of ads. So I have to pay attention to that next time we have an ad, which is going to be in about 5 or 6 minutes. Let's fast forward over to this maneuver. And again, to being within 10 seconds. There we go. 4, 3, 2, 1. Full throttle. And then we could just look at this and wait for the second line to come pop up over here somewhere. which seems to happen close to the 5-second mark. Alright. 5 seconds is right there. We should be getting the icon soon. There it is. Stop there. I tried throttling down in time. We did not throttle down in time, so I just cut off throttle at some point. So right about here should be good enough for the next maneuver, which is going to correct for where we currently are. I'm going to bring this up. We're going to do quite a bit. Not that much, actually. Let's bring this down. There we go. We're going to do a little bit of normal, because as we get closer, this also does a little bit of a normal increase as well. That actually brought us down a little bit. Surprised. Bring that icon up. That should be pretty much in equator orbit. We need to go a little bit more in, because we're only at, well, that's 13 now, so that's good. We were at 20 kilometers. Okay. Next maneuver lock on. And by the time we get over here, it should be mostly radial and only a little bit normal. So that pink triangle we're passing now might get close to the blue circle at the top left. And now that we don't have that big fairing, we are moving a little bit faster than before. So maybe that helped us. We do have enough velocity. I was concerned for no reason. It looks like we overshot about 400 meters per second on getting here. Because we're only going to need about 400 after this 130 to get captured. So we're going to have about 660 meters per second left. We're going to use about half of that. Alright, we're locked on the maneuver. Let's fast forward out of an hour wait time. We are relatively close to the circle. Now fast forward with... Oh, no, let's not fast forward. Hold on a second. We need to lower the thrust limiter here. Which is going to change how long we burn and how early into our orbit we're going to burn. I'm trying to find a good sweet spot without having to start burning now. That's good. We're going to start here. It's a very quiet burn. You're not mishearing the noise. It's just not there. And now that we have this slow enough, I should be able to stop this right after it goes below 15 kilometers. Instead of the last time when we kind of overshot it and brought this down a little too far. So we are now below 300 kilometers from Mun. Now 200. Now we're below 100,000. Slow us down as we get closer. Slow us down a lot now. 17, 16, 15, 14. 14 and a half kilometers is good. We are going to have an ad in a few seconds, so even if you guys do not see it, I'm going to be making this capture here. And then when we come back, we will do the actual capture. I think you guys will be able to see me actually do it. I'm not sure. I didn't want to add a maneuver. I wanted to click on that. There we go. More retrograde. Bring this closer. And one more click is probably overshooting it. Yep. I'm going to bring this down. We need this also below 15. So it's at 16 right now. Let's bring this in a little bit more. 15.3, 15.1, 14.9. That's pretty good there. What's the lowest point go to? 13. All right, so since the ad did just start, I'm going to lock on the maneuver, and then I'm going to pause the game. And when we come back from the break, we will be doing this maneuver. So I will see you guys in about 3 minutes. And we're back. And luckily the cameras worked correctly this time. I don't know why they didn't work the right last time. And I do see that Firebot is working with the announcements for the ads. So I don't know what was going on in our last stream on Saturday where the stuff wasn't working correctly, but now it is. Maybe later on, if it times up with the other announcements, it doesn't work. I don't know. But anyway. If you guys missed it due to the ads, we set up the maneuver for the orbit, but we did not start it. So I did play the game until we got onto the maneuver. And now we're going to fast forward over to it. And then we're just going to do it. Now, because we lowered the thrust limiter, which we're going to keep it lowered until we're trying to land on the globe, we have a 1.5-minute burn time here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, full throttle. You guys can't even hear it, because neither can I. Does the music come in quiet? You guys might not even be able to hear the music. That's because I turned down the master volume very far. If I turn all of this up, that does seem to make the music louder. Oh wait, no, that's Firebot, never mind. Yeah, you guys should be able to hear quiet music right now. Hopefully it hasn't been non-existent this entire time for the past 24 streams that we've been playing this. You guys can't hear it at all right now? Have we been doing 23 total streams of non-existent game noises? Congrats, Gino, on catching the fish. I don't remember turning down the music this low. Let's put it up to 50. I know at some points before the engine burning was very loud. You should be able to hear music now. I can see it working on OBS. I can hear a slight rumble of the engine. I'm not sure what happened there. Anyway, this icon should move over to here at some point. Okay, we are almost below 200 kilometers. Now we are. And now we are below 100 kilometers, so pretty soon I'm going to be slowing us down so that we don't overshoot our lowest point, or highest point, I mean. That's 60, 50, I'm going to start throttling down now, 40, 30, 20, 18, 17, 16, and that is just underneath 15 kilometers. So our lowest point is at 13, our highest point is at almost 15. I'm okay with that kind of orbit. We are a little bit above the orbit, or equator, but I'm fine with that. And what I want to take a look at is the globe right now. So it looks like these areas here are all relatively flat compared to the craters, the small craters. I know the large craters are not flat. And what we actually want to do is Put us on prograde so that when I disconnect, we're facing the correct direction. So that the thruster doesn't hit the pod that we're actually piloting when we go and burn retrograde. Right, we're almost on prograde so that I can speed up time so that we are in sunlight. Which I will start doing now. We're coming around the globe. Let's speed up a little bit more. And I think we'll aim for somewhere in here. That looks pretty good. Because for those that don't remember, the main thing that this booster is supposed to do, or this command pod, is supposed to just take us away from Mun. It's not meant to fly around it. That's what the Land Rover is for. So now that we are right here, we're no longer on prograde, so we're working our way back to it. And that's going to allow us to break off the fairing and turn this around so that we can crash land it into the globe. Which I guess we should have done before we came all the way over here, since we're already on prograde. But anyway, we break this off. We go to this one. We should see that we're not touching the engine at all. Wow. That I'm surprised about. And now the music got louder. So let's turn retrograde. We're going to want to do the same thing with this one before I burn this. Just so that I already have it set up for when I switch to it. And we can very quickly burn... What is that? That's an arch. Just a random arch in here. Okay. That's something I want to drive to later on. I'm surprised it's noticeable from out here. But anyway, we're going to switch to this now. Full throttle burn it into the atmosphere. And we've gotten to a point where prograde changed. Are we... No, we're still crash landing. Okay. I'm going to leave it like this. It just means that we spun around where we're actually flying, the direction we're flying. Can I click on this? There we go. I'm gonna click on our thing. All right, now I think the music is too loud. We're gonna go back to here. It seemed like that one amount of music was quiet. That should be quieter than me now. Alright, back on retrograde and make sure that we're here. I want to... I'm looking for a better landing spot than over here, but it looks like there are a lot of craters in the way. So I think we are going to shoot for right here, maybe? That seems like a relatively flat area. Let's burn our throttle. This rocket works a lot better than the last one. Alright, now let's fast forward to right here. Quickly get locked on. Let's press 1 to get the landing gears out. Because I'm going to be burning more speed as we get closer to this. So I think once we get over top of this one crater right here, we'll start burning again. Or I should probably start burning beforehand, but I don't know how well this engine is going to work. Should probably have this pinned up here as well. Because we're gonna probably lower the thrust limiter as we get closer. If I start burning now, we are losing our speed quickly. I think we might be ending up in one of these craters. Or maybe over here? I'm not sure where we're gonna end up. I think we're going for this crater here. But we are overshooting it because we're coming in fast. I have no idea, chat. I think we're going past it, but we might end up going to it. We might go past it, wow. No, it looks like we're going in it. That's okay. It's not what I wanted, but it's okay. Now the issue we may have is that the next rocket does not have enough thrust. And now we're going to end up going straight down into this crater. That is okay. It should be relatively flat enough for us to land properly. So what I want to do now is find the sweet spot for this. There we go. I could be doing this with the actual throttle, which I probably should do. It'd probably be better at controlling. So we had a little bit of a bump, and now we're gonna fall over. Oh, please don't explode. Alright, this is not what we wanted. We also ended up using a lot of our thrust just to get over here. Or just to slow down, so we might want double the amount of fuel. Or just a tiny bit of fuel more than this. I think this is the second fuel size. We could add the smaller size on top of this. So we'd be adding a third or a half of this onto it. If I stage now, what happens? Well, we have the lander in the right direction. We don't have the shuttle in the right direction. So what I could do is press 1 to retract those. And then maybe the wheels are enough to stop us from sliding down? I don't think they are. I think we're going to continue sliding down. Tried facing us on retrograde. It looks like we are now not moving. So if I stage one more time, didn't want to be shooting off. So how can we flip over? Okay, that rotates us. That's not what I want. I think what I want is to keep changing these until we land flat, which may be right now. All right, we got it right. Our car kind of went far away. So if I press, oh, something broke here. Oh no, it didn't break. We just didn't add the ladders when we added the monopropellant. All right, which one is for this? I guess I don't have a button for it anymore. All right, if I do an EVA with the scientists, and I turn RCS on, apparently it doesn't work when we're holding onto this. There we go. And I use RCS to make us go a little bit faster here. Can't see because of the shuttle. Because we want to get into this so we can stage it. I also don't know which way is up on RCS for this. If I jump, I can see front and back. I don't know which way is go forward. I guess it's just the normal WASD keys. That's fine. I turn RCS off for right here. Because I don't think I want to go too high when I jump onto this. Oh, we need momentum as we're going. Alright, please tell me I land in it. Nope, that didn't work. Don't overshoot it. Oh wait, no, I could have just climbed. I forgot. Alright, this should allow me to go inside. Now we're on this. I want to stage off that. For some reason I'm on this. Don't know what's going on with that. I think that's going to keep bouncing around until it explodes. So if I just go back to this. Oh, we have the brakes on. Should be able to very easily drive this around. Alright, can I stay here? Yes, I can. So, we, in a way, have successfully made it all the way here. The next question is, can this get us home? Because I don't know if it has enough thrust to get up here. If I just switch to this. No, that's not the right thing. If I look at this, It has thrust to weight ratio of 7.11, so it should be enough to get us out into space. So what do you think, chat? Let's do a poll for it, since we haven't done a lot of polls for this. Do we save here and get all the science from the different biomes? Because all the Land Rover needs is electricity, and it's getting that from the solar panels. Or do we fly away to test to make sure that we can get out of here before getting all the science? I'll leave it up to you guys. You have a minute to do that. I'm going to take a look at the different biomes we have. So we are in a small crater that does nothing. If I look at this, it's a little hard to tell because this is a smaller screen. If I change this out to here. Actually, maybe what I want is these two things open side by side. And then if I go to this, this here, and one person said do science first, test later. So that's what we're gonna do. I'm just getting the list of the different biomes pulled up so that I can see it at all times. So this is gonna go over here. This is gonna go right here. So now I have the picture and the biomes open, and the picture is larger. So we are near the weird peanut looking thing. We are actually to the left, or to the right of it. So what I am seeing is that these darker craters that are small are all considered one biome. And apparently there's one somewhere up here as well that we just can't see. This thing is one biome, which I guess is the twin craters. So I guess this is a different crater and that's a different crater. These darker ones, I can't tell what they are in terms of the biome. I think it's called midland craters, going off of the color, but I could be wrong. And there's large patches. If I go west, we get one crater. And if I go further west and then north, there's another crater, and then there's a big biome right here. That's like a mountainous range, I guess. To the west of that is another large crater, and then to the west and south should be two craters. There's this one here, which is a little hard to see. Then there's one crater right here, and in this general area is another large biome, right where this little crater is. So it covers up a lot of this. There's also poles that has two biomes in it. There's poles and polar lowlands, which are going to be a little bit difficult to find. So I think we will go to whatever crater is the closest to us, which I guess would be this one here. So what I want to do right where we are, which should be highlands? No, this would be lowlands. We're going to leave this pilot here. I'm going to turn off the lights because that's going to be using power that we are not charging back. Apparently it's still going down. I don't know what would be using the power right now. I'm waiting to see what happens when we get to 0 because it's going down quite fast. We're only at a 2 charge. In the meantime, I'm going to fill up my mug a little bit more. And I think I need to give the cat a little bit more. We're almost at half a charge, half a unit of charge. I want to see if this just starts sliding. I have no idea what's going to happen. That's 0 charge and nothing is going on, so I have no idea what was using the power. Alright, let me go give the cat some water because I noticed her bowl is very empty. Okay. She's not with her kittens, but she's also outside of view from my chair. Here you are. Giving the water a quick sniff. Anyway. Cheers to everyone. Alright. Since this does nothing, we're going to switch to this. We're only going to have one person in here at all times. Because we don't need... What does landing gear do? Landing gear does nothing. Okay, we don't need the pilot with us. So actually, if I take a look at our action groups, are they all set up for the science? 2 and 3. Yes, they are. Welcome in, TSGPL. And congrats on getting Mega first. So if we do 2, we should get all the science from this one biome. This is Midlands, which is not the darkest biome we can do. So there is lowlands, and that's slightly darker. Where is highlands then? Oh, I misunderstood the colors. I had the colors backwards. I thought the lighter color was the lowest point, and the darker color was the highest point. So we will do a little bit more later on. Now, this isn't meant to send any science to anything. So we are going to do an EVA right here. I should be able to let go. And then we want to take surface sample. The darker midland surface appears to be made of basaltic rocks. That's how you say it. EVA report. You look up and search the sky for Kerbin. Suddenly, you feel very small. Alright, and then we should be close enough to put everything in here, but what I forgot is that we need to transfer everything before we reset it, or else we lose the science. So let's press 3. Brings all the science we collected into that area. And then if we do another EVA, we should be able to get out and reset both of these. Which I'm going to put up here for now. Still can't reset it, so let's just bounce over a little bit. There we go. Now we can restore that. And I can put this up here. And restore the goo as well. And now for some reason I can't get up. think that just bounces me back where I was. There we go, now I can climb on it. Grab, go inside, and we're off to the next place. So we have done 2 biomes so far, and I don't know which biome we have done. I think we did one of the craters we landed on. Actually, if I take a look around, we should see a monument way over here. And this has a little crater going up, so this would be the far side crater. Now, another thing I'm looking for is where that arch was. But I probably won't be able to see it from here. We'd have to drive around and look for it. So, which way are we heading? We're gonna try going south. I am getting the feeling that we are somewhat orbiting. Because we're kind of drifting to where we're going. We are orbiting in a way, so there is such little gravity that we are almost orbiting around the globe. That's going to be something to keep an eye on as we're going up here. And what I want to test out is if we are going south right now, doing the 180-degree heading. So if I take a look at this, we are too close for me to tell if I'm going north or not. If I zoom out quite far, there is 2 craters that are separated above us. 2 craters that are separated, but we're going north. So we really want to be facing north to go south. The direction that's below us is actually where we're going. Are we not capable of getting up this slope? I think we're going up. I can't really tell. What are we doing? We're not really going up anymore. We might not be able to get up this specific slope. If I... Whoa. Can I put the brakes on and then we stop? Or are we going to slide all the way down? We need to go to the left more. We're just gonna keep going down. Okay. So this is something I wasn't prepared for. Maybe it's the wheels don't have enough strength to go up this? It shouldn't be a weight issue. Can I turn left? Or are we stuck going this way? That's what it looks like. For some reason I keep going to the right. And now we're almost gonna flip over. Alright, what if I just rotate? Nope, that's flipping the whole thing. I don't understand what's going on. It looks like trying to go one direction turns you the other way. Now we're going back up the wrong direction. That's not where I want to go. I just want to turn left. But it wants to flip us over and make us face the right. I don't understand. I mean, now we're turning to the right and going backwards. Can I go this way now? I'm trying to go up this side. I think that's less steep. But we're just turning again. Chat, I'm losing my mind. If I just keep doing this weird spin maneuver. Well, it was working until it wasn't. Are we stuck in this crater? Is that what's going on here? Right now I'm just pulling forward. Turn us to the left. Is it RCS that's messing us up? Was it really RCS messing us up the whole time? Well, that's annoying. And I'm glad I found that out. We definitely couldn't make it up that steep of a hill though, so I'm gonna have to find ways of getting around craters with a different steepness. But at least now I actually have control over where we're facing, or where we're aiming towards. This is gonna be fun when we get to the large craters and have to find a way to get out. What are we doing now? I think that was just the land messing with us a little bit. Flip over. Stop going down the crater. Come on. No, why are we... We're so close to the top. I put on the brakes thinking it would stop us. It's not really slowing us down any further. This is like trying to skate on ice and having no control over which direction you're going. I think occasionally we hit a bump in the ground and it makes us fly for a little bit. Where are we going? What? Come on, we're right there. That's the edge of the crater. Get over the crater. Where are we going? Why are we going backwards all of a sudden? Why are we still spinning? Okay, can I just stop right here? Can we just call it quits for a moment? All that time just to get out of this one crater. And that's not even one of the craters we get science from. What is this? Is that the peanut? Did we just go north this entire time? No, we were already north. Alright, so if we were to... If we were to go to here, we can get 2 different biome sciences without having to go into a crater. So where are we at? We're at this one. We need to go with the crater to our right and kind of just follow the craters into that larger pit. Let's zoom back in. See if we can do this now without going back down the crater by accident. Maybe it's also a speed issue. Maybe there's a certain speed I need to go. Can't go faster than 1 speed when going over terrain. Apparently this counts as me going too fast. Or too close to the terrain, I can't tell. Alright, this is what we're going to be doing for the rest of the stream, chat. And hopefully not losing control as much as we have been. Okay, it looks like little movements when on the ground allow us to turn. But if we get air time at any point, we're going to be still considered in orbit. And we'll be keeping that momentum as we're in the air. Are we going towards the crater? We are going towards the crater. We need to go left of that rock. And I can see kind of a line right here we want to stay around. I think we're heading the right way for that, though. That's probably another large crater. No, it's just a regular crater. Okay, that's the large crater there. Which we're probably not going to be able to get out of. That's going to be fun to do later on. Maybe we send multiple of these things. Multiple rocket flights of this. To do all the science. Because what I'm trying to do right now is all the surface level science, not the orbital science. We're going to be able to do that from the space station. Can I speed us up a little bit? We're going a little too slow here. And this is all because we don't have enough science to unlock the parts for the rover that the game comes with. As long as we don't bounce into this crater, should be fine. We might be going in the crater soon. What's gonna happen right here? Nothing. Awesome. This crater is a lot larger than I thought it was. Maybe we should bring the plane here and use the airplane around this. I don't know how much Oh, I can see how much atmosphere is here. There's 0 atmosphere. So we would need to update the plane to have an oxidizer. Which means at some point it will run out of fuel a lot faster than before. So I'm debating on if we continue going around with this Land Rover or if we bring a plane here. Because that was our initial idea, and we're going too fast. Our initial plan was to have a science plane, and I forgot to put the science on the last plane. Because how else are we going to get all the science from this globe? We haven't even really made like room on this. And I noticed we need to go left more. So maybe this is something I should do outside of streaming more after this stream. So what we're going to do for a moment is we're going to do another poll, because this is going to progress us more into the story. And next would be no. The two choices is yes or no. If you guys choose yes, that means that I can complete all the science of the different biomes before our next stream, which would mean that we progress faster in the story, we move on to infraspace, and then that means we move on to oxygen not included faster. If you guys say no, then we're going to be spending a lot of time doing this. Whether or not we do it in the Land Rover or the plane, we're going to be spending more time going around Mun. For Minmus, we did go all around it to the different craters, and we used a rocket that time, so we could probably make a lander that's better at orbiting this. That might be faster than the Land Rover. I didn't realize how slow it was going to be. But I think we'll spend time getting to the next biome with the Land Rover, maybe, and then we go back to this rocket and see how that would take. But anyway, you have 1 minute to do that. I prefer a cone. Can you do a cone instead of a pole? By the way, did you remember to get the mug? Didn't see you get it. Yes, we did get the mug. The mug is, my cat was right about you. And I don't know what you mean by you prefer a cone. Anyway, you have about 30 seconds left of the poll. Or to vote on the poll, I mean. In the meantime, I'm going to be trying to get around this crater a little bit to the left. I think Mun is larger than Minmus, and we definitely want a rocket to do the rest of this. The plane is more of a novelty thing, just to see if we can move it onto here. And 2 people said for me to do the science off stream. Okay, so for the rest of this stream, we are going to be going to just one biome if I slow this down to a halt. Looks like we're sliding, and we stopped. So if we take a look at this, we are attempting to go here, but I think if we just head north, we go into the... No, that would be deep. We really just want to find the lowlands. That would be the second biome, and we can call it. What science happens right here? Midlands. I'm pretty sure we have midlands already. Isn't that what we just did earlier? I just reset it all and we take a look inside the box. Review stored data. Yeah, that is midlands. What I'm looking for is lowlands, but I can't really tell how close we are to lowlands. It looks like we might be going the wrong direction. I can't get closer to the globe. If I go like this, I might be able to see better. Because we're on this crater right here. That is covered by lowlands. So I think we're just on the cusp of it. Maybe if we turned around and went the other direction, we would be getting closer to lowlands. I'm guessing it would probably be this lowest part here. As though we were just too high for it. On the other hand, this biome over here does look like we could get up and out of it. I don't know. This is just taking too long for me. Maybe we go back and we test docking this to the station instead. I think that's what we'll do. We'll go back to the rocket, which is just down here. I don't want to go too fast, but I do want to keep turning. Turning does slow us down as we're doing the turn. And now we just want to go slow enough that we don't flip over and explode. This is going to be a steep drop after this first lip. Our rocket is somewhere over there. So I'm purposely going slow over this ledge, and then I'll allow it to speed up. Maybe. Maybe I should slow it down as we go over. So if I, at this point, just turn on the brakes. Not really slowing us down, but the brakes and me pulling back is slowing us down a little bit. And I can at least steer us into the right direction. Okay, that I think is the brakes being able to slow us down enough. No, it's not. Oh no. Okay, we're slowing down, I think. I am keeping us facing down the crater on purpose, but we do have to go to the right. Because at some point I should be able to stop using brakes. And then we should be able to naturally slow down and around. You know what? We're gonna keep doing this spinning maneuver. That's the rocket. I can at least see the rocket that we're going to attempt to use. Can I rotate us the right way as we're slowing down? We're just going further into the crater. We're not really going that direction. This not working. There we go. And there's about to be an ad in a little bit. Come on, just turn a little bit. There's the ad. So I will see you guys in about 3 minutes. I'm going to continue playing this so we're not sitting here for too long. I'll see you guys in 3 minutes. Welcome back, chat. I got very close to the rocket, and what I'm just trying to do now is get close enough that we don't have to walk very far. but I could just leave it right here. It pretty much took me the whole entire time to get over here. I only just recently started trying to turn around. Okay, this is close enough. So before we leave, what I want to do is rename this. And I don't know why we're still sliding. But configure naming. This is going to be a rover. Or it could be a base. Oh, this would be useful for the space station. We're going to want to change that. So we're going to call this a base. I'm going to accept that. It is not named anything else. Actually, let's name it Lander. No. Land Rover. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to do an EVA. That's going to be transferring all the science around. Unfortunately, we had this here for nothing. If I just fall down here, we can grab everything from in there. Jump down again. And what I want to do is be able to jump up high enough to grab this, which we almost had for a second there. If I go here and then jump up, we hit the rocket. Right here should be fine though. Trying to grab the top ladder because we're too far away from it. There we go. And now if we just go to here, I could right click on this, store all 7. Go inside. Back the ladder. We open this up so I can see our max height. Okay. Start going up. Get the landing gears out. And I don't know which way is 90. 90 is over here. So I'm pulling prograde over to this. And the halfway point would be about 3.5 kilometers, or 7.5, I mean. So we're almost there. We do have a lot of fuel, now that I see how much we have. Start going even more horizontal. Actually, I should be going up more. I had my numbers wrong. Can I bring prograde back up here now? Or is it too late? Alright, that's 15 kilometers. I need to be quick about this. Tiny bit more prograde. There we go, that's good. Lock on maneuver. Do I have no control because of battery? Well, that's not good. That's something I didn't think about. We only have control over where we're heading when the thruster is going. If I do like the smallest amount of thrust. That made us overshoot it. Okay, I am worried now. So we're definitely not doing the maneuver the correct way. I'm attempting to slow it down as we get closer to it. There we go. Now I'm only going to focus on these. We're probably going to shoot our highest point up very high compared to where it should be. But the maneuver should change it to help us. The maneuver point, I mean, should change where it is in order to help us get there. And we used quite a bit of our fuel, so I think this was a waste of time, honestly. Because now that I see how much fuel we're using just to get into orbit, I don't think we have enough to get to the space station and dock with it. Alright, our lowest point is getting up there now. We're almost into positive numbers at the lowest point. And our highest point is going up very fast. We are now officially in orbit, apparently. Right, 4 kilometers, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 kilometers means we are officially in orbit around 1. We're just in a very weird looking orbit. Let's see if we can get home, let alone to the station. So I'm going to put a maneuver right here. I'm going to burn prograde for a while. This is now the SOI of Kerbin. If I do more prograde, it brings us in closer. This is using quite a bit of our available speed. What if I change the timing? That did bring us in, so we can go all the way home, it seems. I think that's what we're gonna do instead. So 30, that's an incline of 35. I am okay with that. Let's go all the way home. Unfortunately, again, I have no control over moving us. Or do I? Am I stopping the ball from rotating? I can't tell. I think I might have the smallest amount of control over this. If I speed up time, are we moving towards the maneuver? We are, look at that. It could just be us going around the planet is putting us in the right maneuver point. If I speed up time even more. And then we get to where this maneuver is, because it is almost on the other side of the sphere again. So I don't know if we're actually getting closer to it or not. I don't think we are. We're gonna have to do a full throttle burn to it. If I start doing a little bit there. I know this is messing up our orbit. Alright, hopefully this is gonna get us home. I have no faith that it's gonna work. Because we, I think, didn't time it correctly. It is still going out the right way. I think it is, at least. There we go. We want that number to go down to 35 kilometers. Or we could stop it at about 40. So that's less than 100 kilometers. That's a little too low. Is there a way that I could rotate us? If I warp to here. And I lock on prograde like I am. Can I do just a little bit of a throttle to push us up? That seems to be pushing us further down. Alright, let's go retrograde then. This is not going to end well for us. Alright. We're playing around with things now. That's still too low. I'm gonna wait until we rotate back around to retrograde. We have 76 meters per second left to spend on trying to get us between 35 kilometers and 40. And by the time we get back home, it'll probably be time to read out. So if I just do quick burst, there we go, that's safe. I'm not doing anything else with this. We're going to warp all the way over to here. Why are we focused on Mun and not on the station? Because we weren't switched to it, apparently. That is not what I meant to click on. There we go. Now we're on the right thing. We are mostly retrograde. I think we are slowly moving to it as we progress through the time. I'm not entirely sure. But what I want to do is warp a little bit closer. And let's speed up time. We're now no longer in orbit height. And I think at this point I want to break off. We don't have parachutes on this. Because this was meant to dock on the space station. I have a very high possible chance of not surviving. And we get it to stop moving. Right. It's almost on retrograde just due to aerodynamic stuff. We won't burn up due to the heat, it's just the crash landing. I have a feeling we're not going to do too well. Our max height is coming in, so we are slowing down enough to get captured by the sphere. I think we're going to go over to land and land over here in the ocean. We could end up crash landing onto this biome. And now our lowest and highest point are switching. So the highest point should stay where we are once it catches up to us. Our lowest point is now below the sphere. We can also look over here for it. I am just watching the blue line and seeing where it's going to end up putting us in. If I look at our speed due to the surface, this is how fast we're going right now. And at some point, it's no longer going to slow down, and it's going to go and speed up. All right, we are going to be in the ocean. It's leaving the land, and we're already over top of this land. We are going to crash land on purpose and see if we survive. If we do, then we save the game where we are. If we don't, we're going to reset all the way back to the VAB, which is going to delete all the science we just got, which wasn't very much. It was just one biome's worth of science. In terms of how much science points it would give us, was probably a lot. But I think it'd be better off making an actual rocket that gets us all the way there and collects the science. Which I will do off stream, and then all we are going to be worried about in the next stream is getting all the way to Duna. So the first thing we have on the list is the communication satellite system around it. We're going to be setting that up. And then we're going to be moving our space station from Kerbin to Mun, then from Mun to Minmus, and then from Minmus all the way to Duna. And that will mark the end of the game. So it's probably going to take maybe another week due to me going back to work tomorrow. I know we can get the communication satellite system done in our next stream on Wednesday, even though it's only a 2.5 hour stream. But I don't know if we'll be able to get all the way to Duna doing this bunny hop system that I thought of on Saturday. We are starting to not slow down anymore. So we made it to about 275 meters per second. And now we should be going faster. Although we are still slowing down, surprisingly. We're still slowing down. I guess no matter what, you do slow down. I just thought at some point we'd be speeding up as we're going back down. We're definitely not going to safely crash. This is going to be an explosion. There's no way we're going to lose 200 meters per second in 1200 meters. So get ready, this is gonna be loud. I zoomed out so it wasn't too loud. Hey, where's the thing that tells us we crashed? There's nothing here. If I press escape, there we go. I can't go all the way back to where we were. So I guess I have to load where we were. Which means that the engine won't be correct, but we're not going to use that again. The rover is no longer on Mun. So we just have that as a thing now. Alright, let's design a new craft that is able to do all the science and fly around the moon. So we are going to reload this, and we're going to delete a few things out of this. So the first thing I want to do is just take off this rocket. But first I should probably make that the root. Move this all the way down. Alright, in terms of how much fuel it had, it seemed like it did not have a lot of fuel. So I think we are going to change this out. Now this did have a lot of thrust on Mun. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Let's reroute to this. And I'm going to move all, not that whole thing, I want just this. I don't remember how many we had. Is everything four-way symmetry? It is. Except for the lights, they're three-way. Boop, boop, boop. Move this up. Move this up. You guys are three-way symmetry. We'll move the ladder because we need more of them anyway. And this is going to be temporarily right there. Why did that not get moved? Oh, because they're not three-way symmetry. Okay. We're gonna want more fuel than what we have. If I put that back on, what size is that? That's the smallest size. Okay. Let's put on the third size here. This back there, move everything back down. This down a little bit more. I want this one down a little bit more. And then this one all the way down here. The landing gears. Which for some reason did not stay four-way symmetry. And then you guys down to here. This is on four-way symmetry for some reason. No, that did not move everything. Why is it? That was weird. This goes all the way down here. So if I start to use retracted, this no longer reaches all the way. I am going to put these on just in case we want to climb up here, even though you guys aren't going to see this. You know what I could do is use the bigger ladder on the bottom. And I always forget where it is. It's utility. Here's the bigger ladder. If I just place that there for a moment and extend it. This is how big the ladder is. Obviously don't want it that low. And there's going to be a little bit of weight pushing this down, so I should move it up to about here. Alright, RCS, we want it halfway below the weight, halfway above the weight. If I move this all the way down here, we're going to want this on four-way symmetry. And I want just the landing gear. Take it off snapping. There we go. Now it should be away from RCS on every spot here. I think I want it rotated a little bit more left. That's better. Still in it a little bit. I'm fine with that. We need to move the RCS at the top down more. Although that's going to be for docking later. You know what? I am going to keep it to where we can dock. I was thinking about changing it so that I could crash land this into the atmosphere later on. So if I put this snapping, first of all, to here, I'm going to take this off and all of this off. I just connect it back in. Okay, so here is our moon hopper. I am going to add a decoupler below it. Wait, no, we don't have to do that. Hold on. I do need to move it up. Because we have the rocket booster as a sub-assembly. And that holds the rocket a little too high up. So I'm going to grab these. I'm going to put it on 8-way symmetry, and then we're going to go to here. Which puts it on the RCS. That's not where I wanted it. What if I move it over to the right a little bit? How do these all work? That's on the RCS. I'm fine with that, actually. The rest aren't that bad. What if I go to here instead? That puts it in the arm, or the landing gear, so I don't want that. You do weird things. That is now perfect. Okay. Fairing time. This is going to be an overkill rocket to get us into space. And then let's just go to here, and then here. Moon Science Collector. Is it collector or collector? I think it's OR. Alright, then we need to reroute to the fairing, bring that all up. In terms of staging, I need to move out more. Maybe not. We have boosters not set up as being four-way symmetry, so if I just take these all off, those are the ones we actually want. Never mind. If I take these all off, we grab these again and just go like this with four-way symmetry. That's where we were. Alright, then it's this engine, decouplers, all the boosters. We come up here, add a stage, this and there, then we stage those off. Do we want the swivel engine on the bottom? I think we do, because last time it did not work out well for us. So if I just do this, take this off, put the swivel back on, and then put these back on. It does change where the struts are, so I'm going to put them back on. And now it's on four-way symmetry. There you go, that's back. That does change the height of our craft, so we're going to have to rebuild the fairing. This is only just going to be an edit. I go to there, a little bit higher than straight in. Alright. We need to make sure that we have people in here, which we do not have the ability, so I'm going to save it and then reload it. One science collector. Because now I can add a person to it. It has all three people. We don't need all three people. We only need the scientist. Which way is this facing? I have a feeling we have to rotate it. We do not have to rotate it. Okay. So, in terms of what we're going to take a screenshot of, I guess it'll be this rocket. Because I didn't take a screenshot of other thing. There is a Rapidash in chat. That's Gen 1. There we go. Let's see if I can catch it. Yeah, we're gonna take a screenshot of this for when we get around to Chapter 3 on YouTube. Alright, so at this point, we're gonna leave this. We're gonna do a hard save, and I'm gonna delete the other autosaves that are here. If I do save game, we're just gonna call it episode 24, right? We're on 24? Yep. Well, I hit cancel. That's not what I meant to do. There we go. And if I look at the rest of these, we don't need 23 anymore. We don't need any of this. Because that was completed the last time. And we're just going to end it here. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to catch me live, I stream on Twitch on Wednesdays and Fridays from 10 AM EST to 12:30 PM EST, and on Sundays from 10 AM EST to 2 PM EST.